Ever pondered over the mind-boggling buzz around this keto diet and epilepsy thing? Is it all a bunch of baloney or does it hold some water? Let's chew the fat about the keto diet, pretty much a grub menu packed with fats and downright stingy on carbs. The name? It springs from this wild notion that it's meant to catapult your body into a state known as ketosis, where you're torching fat instead of carbs for energy. This radical diet has been around the block since the 1920s, initially intended as a tool to help kiddos battle epilepsy. But what about us, the big kids? Kids, could the keto diet be our secret weapon to keep those pesky epileptic at bay? But wait a sec, before we dive headfirst, just a quick caveat. This video is serving up tidbits of wisdom, not dishing out any doctor's orders. Each of us is unique, like a snowflake in a blizzard, and what revs up one person's engine might leave another stranded. So, if you're toying with the idea of jumping on the Keto Express for epilepsy management, it's super crucial to sit down with the health gurus for a custom-made game plan. Now that we've cleared the air, ready to plunge into the nitty-gritty of keto and epilepsy, let's sift through the bull and get down to the truth. So, what's the lowdown on this keto diet and epilepsy thing? Let's break it down from the get-go. Keto diet, short for ketogenic, is a chow-chow plan that's jam-packed with fats, has a decent amount proteins, stingy on carbs. The aim? To get your body to ditch burning carbs for fuel and start burning fats instead. This state, known as ketosis, can switch up how your brain gets its juice. Imagine your brain's like a car engine that typically runs on, suddenly, you decide to switch to diesel. It's a different kind of gas, but the engine keeps same way. In ketosis, the brain goes from using glucose from carbs to using ketone bodies from fats. This switcheroo has seemed to dial down the number of seizures in lots of folks with epilepsy. The research looks good, but it's not all puppy dogs and rainbows. There are studies showing potential plus points for some types of epilepsy. But, let's underline that we need a lot more research before we get too excited. Like every savvy scientist, we gotta recognize limits of what we know right now. Here's the kicker, the keto diet isn't a magic fix for, it's just one tool in the toolbox, and it certainly doesn't replace the hammer. Meaning it could help control symptoms, it doesn't wipe out the root cause of the problem. And folks, this isn't a DIY task. Don't try the diet without a doc in your corner, like having a co-pilot who knows the lay of the land and can steer the ship safely. So while we've got some promising signs, the keto diet isn't a slam dunk for epilepsy. It's one piece of the jigsaw, and like any puzzle, each piece needs a good hard look and the right spot. Stick around as we dive into the personal side of the keto diet in our next bit. If you're finding this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more informative content. So, is the keto diet the magic cure-all for everyone with epilepsy? Think on that for a hot second. The real deal is, there's no universal diet that works wonders for all epilepsy patients. Each person is a unique jigsaw, and their reaction to the keto diet is a different puzzle piece altogether. You see, the success of the keto diet hangs on a bunch of factors. First up, the type of epilepsy. Some types might give a high five to a high-fat, low-carb diet. Others might just give it a cold shoulder. It's like trying to squeeze a square into a circle. Sometimes it's a no-go. Next, the frequency of seizures. Some folks with recurrent seizures might find solace in the keto diet, while others might see zilch change. It's kinda like predicting the weather. Even the best forecast sometimes misses the rain. Then, there are other medical conditions. If you're grappling with health issues like diabetes or heart disease, a high-fat diet might be a big no-no. It's like juggling fireballs while pedaling a unicycle, not the easiest or safest party trick. Lastly, lifestyle factors. Your everyday shenanigans, foodie cravings, and sweat sessions can all play a part in how your body responds to a keto diet. It's like picking the perfect pair of kicks. You gotta consider comfort, swagger, and the event. Now we can't ignore the potential hiccups that can pop up with the keto diet for folks with epilepsy. The diet can cause a topsy-turvy in your electrolytes and nutrients if not kept in check. It's like tightrope walking. Balance is key to avoid a tumble. Line, what works for one might be a flop for another. So before you hop on the keto train, it's essential to hit up your doc, weigh the good and bad, and think about your unique setup. Remember, you're not a number in a spreadsheet, you're a unique individual with your own special needs and circumstances. Keep it real. Wondering if the keto diet is the golden ticket to managing epilepsy? Well, hold your horses there, partner. It ain't that simple. Sure, this razzle-dazzle diet has been known to put a damper on seizures for some folks, but it ain't no cure-all. It ain't the alpha and omega of seizure management. If your doc gives it the thumbs up, sure, give it a whirl. But remember, it ain't the star of the show, but more like the trusty sidekick to your superhero medications tag-teaming those pesky seizures. But hold on to your hats, folks, that ain't all. There are other ways to wrangle those wild seizures. Surgery, for instance, might be just the ticket for some. And let's not forget about neuromodulation, which sounds all fancy and science-y, but basically, it's like giving your brain a good old-fashioned pep talk to behave itself. But wait, there's more. Managing epilepsy ain't just about diets and meds and surgery, oh my. It's about taking care of your whole self from top to toe. Think of it like gardening. You gotta water the plants, pull those pesky weeds, and make sure they get plenty of sunshine. And hey, maybe you don't need to chat with your brain, but you catch my drift. We're talking managing stress, catching plenty of Z's, and living a healthy lifestyle. Epilepsy management is a bit like a three-legged stool: diet, medication, and lifestyle. You need all three for the stool to stand up straight. So, sure, the keto diet can be a real ace up your sleeve, but it ain't gonna single-handedly win the seizure showdown. It's a group effort, involving you, your doc, your meds, and your lifestyle. So, remember, managing epilepsy is a marathon, not a sprint, and the keto diet is just one leg of the journey. So what's the deal with pushing the keto diet for epilepsy, eh? Time to dive headfirst the deep blue, folks. Keto is no walk in the park. Or maybe it's all the birthday cake without the sweet stuff. No more wisecracking now. It's a fat-packed, carb-light routine that might do some good for adults with epilepsy, but boy, it's got its own bag of troubles. Diets like keto for health issues without the right doc overseeing can be a real pickle. Think about walking a high wire while juggling fire sticks. Sounds like a thrill ride, huh? That's 'cause it is. Keto can mess with your body's balance, leading to nutrient deficiencies if not watched carefully. Picture your body as a rock band with electrolytes and nutrients jamming together. Mess with the rhythm and the music's all over the place. Now let's chew the fat about being a savvy consumer of health info. Imagine yourself as Holmes, surfing through a wave of hints. You gotta separate the wheat from the chaff, the true blue science from the hokey stuff. Don't just swallow every little nugget of info you stumble upon. Give it a once-over, question it, and most importantly, have a chinwag with healthcare pros before changing your chow routine. This brings us to the ethical side of being a health info sharer. Of it like being a superhero. With great power comes great responsibility. It's vital to share the straight-up, balanced info, especially when chatting about touchy health topics like epilepsy. It ain't about the thumbs up or the retweets. It's about how our words affect real people. So, remember buddies, while keto might be a handy tool for managing epilepsy, it ain't no magic trick. It requires thoughtful thinking, professional advice, and personal evaluation. It's important to be a smart and responsible health info consumer and sharer, especially when tackling conditions like epilepsy. So where does this whole keto and epilepsy thing land us, you might be wondering? The big point to remember here is, even though the ketogenic diet has shown some serious potential in helping manage seizures for some folks, it ain't no magic cure-all. Epilepsy's a real tricky beast, and what helps one person might not do the same another. It's super important to keep in mind that the diet isn't some wand for epilepsy. Think of it more like a piece in a bigger puzzle of managing epilepsy, rather than a one-size-fits-all solution. This diet needs some serious medical backup, and you shouldn't dive into it without a good long chat with your healthcare pros. If you're thinking about giving it a shot, we highly recommend you sit down with your doc first. Don't just take our word for it, do your own homework, but make sure your sources are legit and backed by science. And hey, while sharing your can be really uplifting and helpful for others, always remember to play it safe and respect other people's privacy. And remember, pushing the keto diet as an epilepsy panacea can be misleading and even dangerous. Always this, when it comes to managing epilepsy, safety, and professional advice should be your #1 game plan. And hey, if you found this information useful, or learned something new today, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more enlightening content. Your support helps us spread awareness and offer more quality information.